People, deluded, I'm back again. The result is sunken in now, people. At the end of the day, we've drawn our game against Wolves 1-1. We can only move on. How many times I can keep saying that without something changing, I don't know, because at the end of the day, you can't. We know some players in the squad are not good enough. Some players are not going to be here long term. There's several positions we would like to bring in to supplement our squad and also to kick it on to another level, people. But at the end of the day, it has to be laid today, and the form has, and how we've been, and the lack of identity has to be placed at the feet of Emery. It's systemic, people. It's nothing but systemic. Like, every problem Arsenal finds itself in terms of the team is systemic on the field, obviously. People were saying, we're looking under the guys last season of, or whatever the term is, of giving him time and things, and rightly so. Emery did need time, everyone said that. But with time, you had to be looking at what he's doing. He's been here 2 months. What are we looking like? He's been here 4 months. You get where I'm going? Every bit you're looking at. And personally, last season, I was looking at it and I was like, I see some good, I see some bad, but really I'm not seeing enough. And as it's gone on, people are finally seeing it. I'm pretty sure, I know it's all Emery out now, people are going on about, and Emery probably does have to leave this club for us to get better or something to change from what I want to see. But I'm sure, with the current climate of football, people say what you see them words and get excited, people, and it makes no sense. I'm sure everybody wants Emery to do well. I want Emery to do well. I'd love him to turn this around. And in May, I'm looking back at these vids thinking I'm tweaking. Nobody wants Emery to do badly unless you're them sick man there with agendas. It's in my best interest for Emery to do well because we get Champions League football. We obviously every fan of every club wants to do as well as they possibly can. Away from all of that stuff, people, I just want to pay my money and win games, people. Like I'm sure whether you pay and watch games, whether you're paying for streaming services, whether you're streaming it illegally, we're investing money and time into our clubs. I'd like to see us win. Something has got to change, people. It's got to change now. The lack of defensive output, the lack of offensive efficiency, the lack of overall blueprint. Like, a lot of people paint Emery as pragmatic, and I get it. I agree somewhat. But then I say to myself, is he really pragmatic? You can't say he's offensive, you can't say he's pragmatic, you can't say he's defensive, because it's like Blue's Clues, it's a mystery, it's Scooby-Doo. What is Arsenal? We can criticize him, I'm so mad I can't even speak even more, criticize him, but what is he standing for? This team is changing week in, week out. And don't get me wrong, one thing I like about Emery is he changes tactics. We needed to do that, especially in big games. I like to see tactics change, but there's give and take. We've gone from Wenger, who, as much as I've previously loved Wenger, and if you're an Arsenal fan for what he brought to the club, you do, he thought too much about the team, and now now Emery's just thinking too much about the opposition. I don't even think it was a case of that, ironically, today. I feel today there's no blueprint. Ozil and Ceballos started. I feel Ozil did alright. Ceballos a bit so-so for me, people. Probably a 5-6 out of 10 for me. But both of them, they played relatively well. We put some attacking moves together. But like you saw today, when there's no real movement, when there's no real plan to how we attack, all our great attacking players, like you saw, you will find them trying to do their own thing, and they're typically coming deep. Like you saw with Wolves. We'll get on to this, but you saw Wolves. Wolves were sitting in, people. Obviously, when you've got Wolves sitting like this, and you've got their wing backs like this, and I'd describe they had a pivot in midfield, I'd say, and Jota was a bit inverted in the game. But when you're going with something like that, and there's no movement in front, and there's no real blueprint, you're just playing into the opposition's hands, in my opinion, people. What I saw today was poor. Like, 1 minute is 4-3-3, then it's 4-2-3-1, then it's 4-4-2. And don't get me wrong, I've got nothing against these formations, but there has to be freedom within the framework. I have to wonder, when you're doing all of these formations, how much quality of time are you lot giving in training to better at these tactics? Just damn right understand them. Because obviously, and I might be a bit naive, surely you should have 2 tactics, 3 tactics. You get them on lock, or 2 tactics, or 1, and you get them on lock, then you deviate. It looks like we're trying to do too much and then too little, and I have to wonder, I have to say, Emery's not looking like he can communicate his issues, or not his issues, sorry, the information he wants to do in the game. Today was a bit of a mad thing. Like, you saw a sort of diamond. Now, let's move everybody up. I'd say Jimenez was more or less here. I'd say Jota was there. I'd say they had their thingies there. and you had their wing backs and whatnot, and then you had their three at the back of their midfield relatively like that. Obviously, defensively, Wolves, you saw them tuck in and get bare man behind the ball, which made it hard for us. But from an Arsenal perspective, it looked like a diamond of sorts in the first half. And I didn't understand the Torreira one. Now, in the game, Ozil obviously came out here, people. But I'd say Ozil and Ceballos, respectively, especially Ceballos, was kind of trying to do up this, innit? Was trying to do up there. I get the theories behind it. I'm not. Before we speak about the others, I don't agree with Torreira in the 10. I thought Torreira would be somewhat, you know, rather than DM. If you're not going to play him in the DM, I don't feel Torreira has to exclusively play there. But for me, if you're not going to play him in front of the back four, you need to give him that sort of Vidal task in the team. Arturo Vidal in that. Obviously, he's not exactly defensive, but he's going around the pitch and he's putting out fires. I thought we're going to do that. Like, he'd be aggressive. Obviously, the front two would do their thing. You'd have Ozil linking up and doing his. And you just have Torreira just screening up everything. And I think Torreira played well slightly in that role. I don't feel Torreira played bad today, but how effective can he be? You've got Guendouzi there. Why he favours Guendouzi there, I don't potentially know. I think Guendouzi's not mature enough necessarily to do that or be the deepest lying sort of midfielder, if you don't want to say DM. Guendouzi had a poor game today now. I love Guendouzi. I think he's a baller. He's been in good form. It happens. He has bad games. It is what it is. So I think away from Emery and what I've been saying, Guendouzi just didn't have a good game today, in my opinion. But surely you've got you'd rather swap Guendouzi and Torreira, have Torreira there, and then have Guendouzi play slightly deeper. Then surely let Ozil get up there and let Ceballos do his thing. And then obviously you've technically got two men there in theory. Like, I didn't get it today, people, because it looks like there's no real protection. It did, and I think Tierney did very well today because they tried to double up against him. But you saw early on, Adama was gone. You saw Adama gone, and I think that Doherty guy was trying to offer an outlet, and obviously men were trying to come and support. Obviously, when Tierney goes, I think the thinking behind that was if Ceballos is meant to come out here, Ozil was going to be out there. If not, Torreira would swap, and they kind of give support to kind of combat any wide threats when our wing-backs go. Now, you've got Chambers. Now, Chambers puts in a shift. The applications there, like, Chambers fights to the final whistle, but for me now, we've got to be looking at bringing in a right-back that can compete with Bellerin or step in. Now, Chambers is doing a job for the team, but they were putting in balls into that channel, and it was kind of working against him. And he's not a right back by trade. In the final third, he just hasn't got it. Too many moves are breaking down, and we don't. On top of just not having an offensive play, anyways, we haven't really got any wing backs. We're not really using our wing backs from the right hand side offensively as best as we can. Tierney done his thing today. I think Tierney played well today, and then I don't even need to use a tactics book, but it's like, well, what is going on in the game, people? At times, it's like we're chasing the game now, and obviously the substitutions. It looks like when my man's come off, it's like I don't even know. I can't even describe it. It's like what happened. It was like It's like at a time we went to this when obviously the Saka and Martinelli thing came. It's like a 4-1, and then I don't even know where young Martinelli was. It's like he was trying to do up the right. You had Ozil there and whatnot. We're just chasing the game. You had Saka at a time. Saka's playing 10, then Saka's out there. It just went down the toilet, people. And the goal we conceded was dumb, similar to the goal we scored against Wolves. Both of them, ironically, starting from, forgive me if I'm wrong, wide areas. Now there's a throw-in, people. There's a throw-in. We're switching off from a throw-in, people. Long story short, the only things that matter, without getting into detail, is like Origi in the week, centre-halves or defenders are unaware. What really bugged me, just on top of the obvious, not building on chances and things, he's in between them. That means he's lost both of them. That means, I don't know whose individual man it is, if someone is given that task, but that means at one point, either man has seen them on their shoulder. It's happened to me in grassroots football. It is what it is, people. They've lost him. He scored. Now, with that being said, if I go on, because I was at the game, if I go and watch the game and the highlights again, there's obviously other people to blame, and there was a sequence somewhere that didn't start with the defence, but it's a shambles. It's only Arsenal that seem to really get punished when we're not really effective. We didn't take our chances, people, so we can only hold our own hands up today, people. Like, Emery's got 2 wins from the last 9 now, people. Obviously, I was at the game. You could hear the boos. Emery's been here 15 months now. Obviously, it needs to be better than this, people. We've won just 6 of our last 18 Premier League games, people. And for substitutions, Emery, I'm not saying this as white and black as this, but we're leading 2-0 at Watford. He takes off players. Watford have 31 shots, and then we end it 2-2. We're leading against Palace. Substitutions, the same thing happened again against Liverpool midweek, and again today against Wolves. So on top of the systemic problems at this club and the lack of coaching and whatnot, people, it just hasn't been there. Like it just there's nothing here. Like we're 14 points off the top of the table. We're 12 points off bottom. So we haven't been playing well. We've got Leicester next week. They are 3 points ahead of us. They can go 6 clear of us if they do their job. Forgive me if I'm wrong, or even more, because I'm not sure of their result or if they're playing tomorrow or if they played already. I just know I've just actually found out recently Bournemouth beat United. But it's ridiculous, people. After the first 10 minutes where we had a slow start, Wolves are having 5 shots, people. It's ridiculous, and it's another game where we concede a poor goal in the second half, and it takes me back to half time. What is going to be said at half time between these individuals and these players and the manager? Statistically as well, people, we had 10 shots in the game, 4 on target. Do you remember when we was winning games in the 22 unbeaten run and these shots were similar, ratios were similar, and people were saying it shows we're efficient and stuff, we're taking our chances? You could say that, but boy, we're away to Wolves, who are unbeaten in recent games, I believe, but haven't had the best of Premier League seasons. 25 shots, 8 on target, people. We had over 200 more passes than them, or just about, and it's damning, people. We're 5th, we're on 17 points. Sheffield and Sheffield United and Bournemouth are on our heels, essentially. Is there any more meaningful statistics, people, that I can bring up? We've now dropped 6 points from winning positions this season. That's the only teams with worse stats are Spurs, United, both with 8, West Ham on 9, Aston Villa on 11. Only Watford have managed more shots in a Premier League game against Arsenal this season than Wolves did, which Watford had 31, and Wolves had 25, people, which is quite poor. We've obviously got a lack of goal scorers, excluding Martinelli now, because in the last 18, this is all on Urbino's Twitter, the last 18 Premier League games, Aubameyang's got 13, and it's just hell of a man with 2 on 1, like Socrates and Luiz and that. We had just 3 shots after 31 minutes, people. Yeah, we were 1-0 up and it looked gravy, but it was poor, and 2 of them were by defenders, which was mad. Which, is he sure about that? Because if we managed just 3... Oh yeah, it would make... My maths is poor, but yeah, obviously 3 shots, 1 Aubameyang scored. But that being said, though, I don't know if that's true, because I remember Aubameyang and Aubameyang and Torreira, they blasted wide, and I think Lacazette hit over the bar. In one shot. Yeah, man, it's mad. We had just 2 shots in the last 50 minutes. Well, that's a mad thing. And it's only at a point in the game, it was only the fourth time we've been leading at half time in 11 games this season. So we're not starting games well, going in for the kill, killing it at half time. We're not coming out at half time with the same intent. We're unable to close out games. Regardless of if the squad's young, if these are not EMERY'S players and whatever, he's been here for 15 months. Every one of these problems, we have to look at the manager now. It's nothing to do with these players now. Of course, players are poor and the players are playing, are the ones playing, but it's Emery now, people. We have to really ask questions, and I hope he turns it around. But to be honest, there's not really a case to deny you being sacked, and especially if we go and lose away to Leicester, which is a real possibility considering the form and our away form. It doesn't make for good reading, people. On that note, though, I'm going to keep it moving. People, Deluded, I'm out. Thank you for watching and rocking as usual.